Hi, Nicola.
Hello.
So before we get started and ask you a few questions about your Osborne journey, can you tell me a little bit about you?
Right, yeah, so I'm Nicola. I am mummy to Elijah and Jude. They are 3 and 2. And I'm also wife to Adam and fuss giver to our two house cats, Merlin and Lily. And yeah, I'm just turned 36, completely ordinary, normal person. Um, Before doing Usborne, worked in something completely different in hotels for 13 years. Just kind of plodded along a bit and then came across this and thought I'd try something different.
Excellent. So what made you decide to join Osborne Books at Home?
So I was on maternity leave at the time. So I'd been on maternity leave for 5 months. Jude had just turned 4 months old, and it was my second round of maternity leave. And I really, really didn't want to go back to my full-time job. I had loved my job, but it had gone its course. I wasn't really enjoying it anymore. To be honest, I probably should have left about 3 or 4 years before I did. And just like so many people as well, childcare costs, especially having the two boys, it was going to be really unrealistic for me to go back to work full time. So I was just sort of having a look for something different, really. And then I stumbled across your Facebook advert, which was fab, and did a bit of research into it. I didn't even really know it was a thing before I actually saw the advert. Obviously, I knew about Usborne books. We had loads, especially Jude and Elijah with the That's Not My Books. I actually counted the other day. We had 25 in our personal collection before I even joined. So I think I'd started to amass quite a big collection even before then. But yeah, it was just really, really good timing that I saw the advert and it showed me that something else was possible. So decided just to take the leap.
Excellent. In what way have you and your family benefited from you working with Osborne?
Yeah, so this is a really big one for me. As I say, I started with Usborne in the July of 2016, and I wasn't aware at the time that if I didn't want to go back to work, I actually needed to give 3 months' notice in at my job because I'd been with them for so long. Even though it was just working in a hotel, because of my length of service, they needed 3 months. So when I realised that, that kind of really it shook me a little bit, but it was also a good thing in that it gave me a timeline to get things in place. So I just decided to go for it and see what I could make of it. I had no clue what I was doing to begin with. I hadn't done anything like it before. It was all really new to me. But yeah, really loved it and was enjoying my maternity leave and just wanted to be at home with the boys. So I just thought, oh, I'll give it a go. And then thankfully I had built it up enough and I really saw the potential in the opportunity. So I knew that I was going to get out what I was willing to put in. And yeah, I was lucky enough to be able to actually hand my notice in December and not go back to my work in the February of 2017. And it was such a huge relief. Was a bit scary, I'm not going to lie. It felt like I'd suddenly got this responsibility of a business, and to be classed as self-employed, it did sound all a bit too official. But no, I just embraced it, and it's just meant now that, well, this morning, for example, I've been at my Slimming World group. I've been there all morning, from 9 till 11. I wouldn't have been able to do that had I been in my office. Yesterday we were at the park and I saw my mum and dad and obviously the boys' grandparents, and we just had the day together. And it just means I've been able to be there with the boys rather than missing out on time with them and just making memories. And it's what I just was my ultimate thing to do. I don't think any mum wants to miss out on time with their kids, especially when they're so little. Yes, obviously there are days when they are complete little terrors, and then I do think, oh, perhaps maybe I should be in the office. But most of the time, I'm so grateful that I've been able to have that time with them and have that time with them because it's going well.
Excellent. So has Osborne replaced now what your earnings were?
Yes, so if I average out my earnings over the course of the year, I'm now earning more through Usborne than I was in my full-time job, which is
Wow.
absolutely crazy to me that I'm sat here now doing this with you and earning money as well at the same time and not being in my office.
Excellent.
So yeah, it's amazing.
Brilliant. So what's the thing you enjoy the most about your business now?
The thing I enjoy the most, it's a real mix really. So particularly when I first started, I loved the buzz and the excitement of events. I really loved getting out there and showing the books to people, and just I liked organising an event. I liked being at an event. I just loved being in amongst everything, and still do now. I am in a position now where my team, I have built up the business that I don't have to do as many, but I still do like to do them because I enjoy them so much. But then also for me, showing the opportunity to other people as well, and just knowing that from what I've got out of it and what my family's got out of it, if I can then pass that on to other people as well and help them to build their business up to where mine is, then it's just showing people that there are other options available to people. You don't have to be sat at your desk. Like if you want to be sat at a desk, then yeah, of course that's for you. But if you long for something different and that isn't where your heart is, if your heart is at home and you want to be with your family, rather than the traditional 9 to 5, then it's just making people realise that there are other options. And I like to be involved with that and showing people a different way.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you first joined, how did you find the training and support that was on offer? Was it what you expected it to be?
Oh no, it's so much more. Like I really thought I was just going to be thrown in at the deep end and kind of been left to my own devices, which is one of the reasons why it took me a little while to actually decide whether it was for me or not. Because after taking the leap, I didn't know what was going to transpire like afterwards. But no, the support just from everybody, like obviously from you as my mentor, and then the entire the executive and all the cross divisions and everybody from even within my team, and on the groups that we have it, like everyone's like really good at sharing best practices and tips, and it's not nobody's guarded in any way. Like we all want each other to succeed. So in terms of support, it's been fantastic, and I always know that somebody's there in order to help, like whether that's your mentor, whether that's just by putting a post on one of the Facebook groups just for a bit of advice. There's so many people that are willing to help, and like I say, sharing tips and advice and things, because we all want to see each other do well and we all want everyone to succeed. So it's really like a nice little family. And now a lot of the people that actually I've met through Usborne are like really close friends as well, so it's a really nice vibe about it. I've known other friends that have done other similar businesses where unfortunately they haven't had that, and they have felt sort of all by themselves and alone in their business. But it's one of the really good things that stood out to me with Usborne, is that we are all supporting with each other.
Absolutely. You sort of covered what my next question was going to be, which is, what about the friendships you've made in this? Do you feel you've made strong friendships?
Yeah, absolutely. Like the events as well that we do throughout the year, it's some of my best times of the year when we can all get together, and that's like really important as well. And not just the friendships that I've made from Usborne people, but as well by going out to other things like the baby groups and toddler groups that I go to, um, whether I'm at a school like doing a book fair or something, the people that I've met along the way. And I've had like a really good example actually. One of my best customers, Marianne, who I met at a mum to mum market. I was actually doing a stand at the time, and she was another stall holder selling her kids stuff that they didn't want anymore. And she actually became a customer of mine, and I didn't know her before then. But then she actually became part of my team, and now we're really close friends. And she doesn't live that far away from me. She's only 5 minutes down the road, and we regularly meet up and do stuff together. So yeah, it's really lovely to expand your social circle and people that you know. I obviously had friends and that here before starting with Usborne, but it's just nice to have like more friends from different backgrounds and over the country as well that you can visit and get together with.
Excellent. Do you feel that you have changed or grown as a person since you've been doing Usborne?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm more willing. I was always quite an outgoing person in sort of my personality and things, but in terms of trying things like a few years ago, I would have never have done something like this. It would have completely scared the pants off me. But I just think now and even doing this interview and like recording this live, I would have never have done that before. So I think in terms of building confidence and putting yourself out there a bit more and having more belief in myself as well. Like before doing this, it was just I was mummy, I was wife, I was the hotel worker, but now it gives me something for me as well. So I think it's nice to have that and gives you a bit more belief in yourself that you can be other things, that you're not just a label of being mummy. Not that that's not fantastic and in itself, but it's nice to have something else as well alongside that.
Excellent. You were a bit of a record breaker with the company incentives, hitting I think all 4 of them in 1 month.
Yeah.
Can you just tell us what those incentives are?
Yes, so the first one was to get kit boost, so that was 3 £100 orders in 3 weeks, and that got me my £50 in free books to add to my stock, which that was great. I loved that one. That was actually probably one of my favourites because it gave me £50 worth of books, which I could completely decide what I did with them. I kept some for the boys, and then the others I sold on for full profit. So that was quite nice that you could get extra bit of money that way. And then the next one was to submit another 3 £100 orders. So you've done 6 in total by that time in your first 6 weeks. And that got you your kit refund. So that and as well was good because then I couldn't actually believe that the business hadn't actually cost me anything. So I got my £38 back. Still had all these fantastic books because you've obviously still got your kit, which you get for the £38. I'd got my kit boost, so that was extra, and then I got my money back. I couldn't quite believe that a business could end up not costing you anything. It was amazing. In amongst all that time as well, I had recruited 2 people to my team. That got me a recruiter's reward, which got the 4-month subscription to the online marketing package, which that's fab because you get a database for your customers and you can build your database, and then Usborne do the marketing for you. They send out the newsletter and do your website. And I had no clue about websites or even how I would make one or even start to think about it. But Usborne do that all for you, apart from updating like your little blog and potentially a picture of you if you want one on there. They do everything for you, so that's great. And that made me feel more professional as well, that I had my own website there that people could go to. I wasn't just a random person selling books. I actually have a business website, so that was good. Yeah, and then I got the bug for recruiting then. I loved mentoring and coaching people, so decided to continue with it and built up a little team, and then I promoted to team leader and got my double promotion bonus, and that was a £200 bonus, which was fantastic. And that all happened in the space of 1 month.
I think it was like 41 days, wasn't it, after you joined?
Something like that, yeah.
Excellent. So what would your advice be to a new organiser just starting out on how to go about hitting those incentives?
Just to really show your excitement for it, get to know your starter kit, look through everything that you get in there, and just be like a sponge, like listen to things that people tell you, really get involved with the groups and the discussions that we have, and any training that's available. Just be willing to take everything in, and then obviously use what you think will benefit your business. And just don't be afraid to get out there and show the books to people. The books are gorgeous and such fantastic quality that when you get them in front of people, people love them. And everybody knows Usborne, everybody knows the publisher Usborne. And so many people have got the books in their collections already. It's not like you're taking something to them that they don't know. Like, they recognise it, that it's in schools, it's in nurseries, waiting rooms. Like, Usborne is everywhere if you look for it. So we are known. It's not an unknown. People aren't going to be scared by it. So yeah, take every opportunity you can to get the books in front of people. And yeah, if you're passionate about it, if you have children especially, you're familiar with the product, other people are going to want it as well. So your passion comes across, and people will want to support you. It's people like to see families doing things to help themselves. So I think people are quite keen now to support at-home businesses rather than big corporations, and that I think there's more of a trend now for people helping themselves and doing it that way. So just get out there and show it and talk to as many people as you can.
Fantastic. So you've worked quite hard with your business, and you've made sure you've stayed in what we know as a gold business development program, which in turn has led to you going on the travel incentive and to India.
Yeah.
What would you say is the best bits of being in gold, being in that business development program, and the travel?
Okay, so when I promoted to team leader, I didn't really know too much about gold to begin with. And then went to our leadership academy, which was the following month after my promotion. Once I then saw the benefit and the potential of it, I knew that I didn't want to be out of it again. I could just see how being in the business development program would support my business and move it forward. A potential to increase your team, increase your knowledge, and as I say, helps and support other people as well. So one of the big things for me, my division is called Ignite, and I really liked that as a word, in that it's igniting the spark in others as well. And we actually touched on that at the Leadership Academy. It felt like it was meant to be that I'd picked that name. So yeah, I wanted to support other people to do the same, and just by doing that and talking to my team and helping them to go after what they want to do and put plans in place to build their businesses, that's meant that I've stuck in gold. And then by doing that, I obviously got the travel incentive, which was to India, which was amazing. We had so much fun. Couldn't quite believe it. Still kind of feels like a dream. I don't know about you, Sarah, but it still feels like I've dreamt that I've been to India, all expenses paid. It just seems a bit bizarre that that's something that you can do. But yeah, we went, and it was awesome. And so now I'm continuing to support my team and put plans in place for their development. I've already promoted a team leader this year, and I'm looking to support my next team leaders through their promotion this season. And yeah, just by doing that and doing what I love, I'm now working towards the next one, which is St. Petersburg and Helsinki, which is going to be incredible, because I can never think of a time when I would have gone to India or St. Petersburg and Helsinki. Now they're not places that we would book as a holiday to go with our boys. So it's just amazing that we have that opportunity to do that.
Absolutely. So where do you see your business being in 5 years' time?
Oh, that's a big one. Right. So yeah, just bigger, better. It doesn't quite compute with me that where I can't even imagine where it'll be in 5 years, really, because where I am now because it's not, I haven't even been with Usborne 2 years yet. It'll be 2 years in July. So if you'd have said to me 2 years ago that I'd have this business now with like 250 people in my downline and replacing my full-time wage, I'd have told them that they were mad, and I wouldn't have believed it. So to fast forward that another 5 years, I can't really put like into words where I think it will be. I just know it's going to be fab.
Excellent. Okay, last question for you. What would you say to someone who was thinking about joining Usborne, who's maybe sat on the fence and not sure whether to make the decision or not?
I would just say, just do it. You haven't got anything to lose, and like we say quite often is, don't think about what's the worst that could happen, think about what's the best that could happen. And I'm quite a good example of that, in that had someone have said to me like, what's the best that could happen to those 2 years ago, like it would be now, like what I'm doing now, having that income and being able to be at home with my boys, and just to be able to have that financial freedom. Yes, obviously you have to work at it. You don't just get a magic box of books that sits under your bed and you don't have to do anything. You do have to work for it, and it is your business. But that's what life is all about. You don't get this magic beans that are just going to do it for you. No job is like that. You can't just turn up to a 9-to-5 job, sit at your desk and not do anything for 9 hours and get paid. But so yeah, just do it and see what you think of it. We know that you will love it and that you will get the Usborne bug, and you'll be surrounded by so many other people as well that are willing to help and support you, and that there isn't anything to be scared of. We are just all normal mums, doing things to make our families' lives a bit better, and we can all do that together. So yeah, just buy your box of books, get to know your books, and see where you go from there. Take that leap of faith.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Nicola.
Yeah, you're welcome.